Some people are using AI to save time, others are using it to quietly replace entire businesses. And the gap between those two groups is becoming very expensive, saturated, and the people making $10,000 a month aren't necessarily smarter. They just entered the system from a different door. At the first level, AI side hustles look simple. Content generation, automation, chatbots, editing. Most people stay here. They think the opportunity is the tool itself. But tools are never the real opportunity. The real opportunity is what happens when the cost of execution collapses. For years, building a business required friction. You needed employees, editors, designers, marketers, writers. Now one person can simulate an entire company from a laptop. That changes behavior. Because once execution becomes cheap, speed becomes power. The people winning right now aren't always producing the best work. They're producing the most momentum. That's why the internet suddenly feels flooded with content. Flooded with AI videos, AI brands, AI businesses. It's not random. The barrier between idea and execution is disappearing. And when that barrier disappears, the people who move fastest gain an unnatural advantage. But this is where most people get stuck. They think volume is enough. It isn't. Because at the next level, the game changes completely. The second level isn't about AI tools. It's about leverage. This is where AI side hustles stop looking like freelance work and start looking like infrastructure. A normal freelancer trades hours for money, but AI operators build systems that continue functioning without constant effort. That difference changes everything. A creator uploads one video, an AI system cuts it into 20 clips automatically. Those clips distribute across multiple platforms. Traffic flows back into a digital product. An automated email system converts attention into sales. Customer questions get answered instantly. Follow-ups happen automatically. At that point, the business is no longer dependent on energy alone. It becomes operational. That's why some people suddenly scale so fast. Not because they're grinding harder, because they stopped acting like workers and started thinking like architects. That distinction matters more than people realize. Workers focus on tasks. Architects focus on systems. And AI rewards system thinkers disproportionately. That's why small teams are suddenly competing with companies that once dominated entire industries. A faceless YouTube channel can now outperform traditional media pages. A one-person marketing operation can outperform local agencies. A teenager with AI tools can now produce content at the speed of an entire studio. At first, this feels exciting, then slightly uncomfortable because the deeper implication starts becoming obvious. If one person can now do the work of 10, what happens to everyone else? That's when things begin to change. The third level is where AI stops feeling like a business trend and starts feeling like a shift in economic power. Historically, wealth favored ownership. Factory owners, media owners, software owners. The people controlling systems always scaled faster than the people operating inside them. AI compresses that gap. Now individuals can access capabilities that once belonged only to corporations, and the market hasn't fully adjusted yet. That's why there's still opportunity. Right now, businesses are confused. They know AI matters, but most don't understand implementation, so a strange gap appears in the market. The people who understand AI even slightly suddenly appear highly valuable, not because they're experts, because uncertainty creates demand. A restaurant owner doesn't want to learn automation systems. A real estate agency doesn't want to study AI workflows. A creator doesn't want to spend hours editing content. They just want outcomes, which means the person controlling the system becomes powerful. This is why AI side hustles scale unusually fast. They attach themselves to inefficiency, and modern businesses are filled with inefficiency, missed calls, slow editing, weak content, delayed communication, manual operations. AI removes friction from all of it, and every time friction disappears, money moves. That's the pattern underneath the trend. But there's another layer most people never reach, because eventually AI side hustles stop being about income entirely and become about positioning. At the fourth level, the people making serious money understand something subtle. Attention is becoming automated. Creation is becoming automated. Communication is becoming automated, which means human value begins shifting elsewhere, not toward labor, toward judgment. The internet spent years rewarding creators who could produce the most. Now AI can produce endlessly. Infinite content, infinite designs, infinite scripts. So the market changes again. The valuable people are no longer the fastest creators. They become the best selectors, the best curators, the best strategists, the people who know what should be built, not just how to build it. That's why some AI businesses collapse quickly, while others quietly scale into massive operations. One is built on novelty, the other is built on positioning, and positioning is invisible to most people, because from the outside, all AI businesses look similar, but underneath, some are simply generating content, others are controlling distribution, some are chasing trends, others are shaping behavior. That difference compounds over time. This is where the average viewer begins separating into two groups: observers and operators. Observers watch AI content for entertainment. Operators study systems. Observers ask which tool is best. Operators ask which market inefficiency still exists. Observers consume. Operators position. And once you notice this split, you start seeing it everywhere. The people quietly making the most money online rarely look impressive. They aren't always famous. They aren't always loud. Sometimes they're invisible, because visibility and leverage are not the same thing. That realization changes how you see the internet itself. Social media starts looking less like entertainment and more like infrastructure. Views become currency. Automation becomes labor. Algorithms become distribution networks. And AI becomes the force multiplying all of it simultaneously. But the final level goes deeper than money, because eventually this stops being a conversation about side hustles at all. It becomes a conversation about adaptation. Every major technological shift creates the same illusion in the beginning. People think it's optional. The internet looked optional once. Social media looked temporary once. Smartphones looked unnecessary once. AI is entering the same phase now. Most people still treat it casually, as a novelty, a shortcut, a productivity hack. But beneath the surface, it's restructuring economic behavior in real time. And the people making $10,000 a month aren't necessarily the end result. They're early indicators, signals of a larger shift happening underneath society, because when intelligence becomes scalable, everything accelerates. Business creation accelerates. Competition accelerates. Content accelerates. Decision-making accelerates. And when acceleration becomes normal, adaptation becomes survival. That's the uncomfortable truth hidden beneath the excitement. AI doesn't just create opportunity, it compresses time. The people adapting slowly may not even realize they're falling behind until the gap becomes irreversible. Because the real divide won't be technical skill, it will be psychological flexibility. Some people will spend years resisting the shift. Others will quietly rebuild their entire lives around it. And history usually rewards the second group. Not immediately, but eventually. That's why the biggest advantage right now isn't money, it's perspective.